Cory Mekanik. I'm a founder and one of the principals at Irvine Software Company. We're located in California, United States. We are a little bit south of Google, Facebook, Twitter, and Oracle Corporation there. We're going to do our presentation a little bit different today. We're going to have a discussion panel with three of us. These are my business partners, Yevgeny and Kochheim. And three of us.
This is what we have this morning, 7
Okay. Between three of us, we have about 80 years of experience in IT. And that makes us, when you go walk into the bar, you don't need to show your ID. That's cool, right? Right. So what we're going to talk about today, our presentation is mostly for the business owners, not developers. But I want to know how many business owners are here, how many shoppers. And developers? Awesome. So by the time we're done today, this is not working anyway. By the time we're done today, if you are a shop owner, you will have no doubt that nopCommerce by far is the best solution out there for e-commerce. And if you are a developer, you will discover how possible it is to expand nopCommerce into its greatest limits. So what we're going to talk about and what I'm very excited about today is to share with you that we developed a site about 2010 that by far exceeded any expectation in creating sales and broke the nopCommerce sales record by any means. I'd like to, Chris?
Yes. I was going to take your picture. Sorry.
Okay. So we created a site in 2010 for one of our customers that generated $2.5 million in 2 hours. And they sold out. They sold out their products, generated about 2,500 transactions, and they shut down the store. So what happened with that?
So this is kind of a joke. The microphone doesn't work. I'll do my best. As Cory said, we've been working together since 2009 to show that our first site, and that's us. And we are all partners, so it's been really fun. We've been working together a long time, and we tend to collaborate on pretty much every project we do. And I don't mean that just from a working standpoint, but from the brain power too. We like to kind of figure out ways that you can use Nop natively. And then when you hit that limit where you say, okay, we have to get in there and make the change, we do. Let's go ahead. So the first thing, we're talking about business problems. And so people come to us with business problems. I feel a lot like it's a doctor. The patient doesn't go to the doctor and say, this is what's wrong with me, and these are the medicines you need to prescribe, and this is the surgery you perform. This isn't how it works. And it should have worked like that with the developer. So when patients come to us, customers, with symptoms that they need help with, it's really our job to figure out what's the best medicine to address that problem. And that's kind of the presentation. So our first issue was the high volume traffic. Our customer, we actually did a very complex financial trading system for this customer who sells gold, silver, platinum, palladium, millions and millions of dollars a day, and had no dealings with the public. They were a wholesaler, and there was a one-time opportunity to go ahead and go to the first one and sell these 5-ounce silver coins. And they were on the list from the Treasury to get these. 13 days before the big release date, the Treasury, United States Treasury released a requirement that they sell one per household and only one per household. And these were highly sought after. So you can see the statistics there. We have 13 days from concept to delivery. And I do laugh about it now. Just found out on share posting. We didn't know. We were actually in development with our first Nop 1.8 site at that time, which we're going to show you in a minute, which is still in production. It was in 1.9. So this was on share posting, and thank God our hosting company put it on its own server. We said we're not really sure. It might need a little more than what it's got. And for 20 minutes, we all stared. And all of a sudden, boom, all the orders went through. And so, like we said, we did a little over $2.5 million, and was shut down. So in one day, it was open and closed. was the story you never saw, but which really put knock on our radar because we realized that this thing was pretty powerful, and we were able to get to market quite quickly. Can you guys hear me okay? So, I asked Andre yesterday what NOP means because I thought maybe it was just a Russian thing or somebody's initials, and is this working out? Thank you. Well, we've decided at Irvine is that NOP is not our problem, meaning that there are so many core features of delivering a solution that are not our problem. We don't have to think about them. They're already there. So we really like to focus on, decorating the cake, but the base cake is there. So this was it. This was our high volume, high traffic, and the first one that. Okay. Well, thank you. So go ahead to the next word. So the 1.8 site, 1.9.
This was 1.8.
1.8. 1.8 is still in operation today. And this site was, we have a tire company that has a certain amount of customer service people, and they bought tires for their clients from China. And they bought either containers or warehouse. And so they wanted to expand their business, but they had an X number of people in the US, and they couldn't take any more calls or answer any more salespeople. They need to kind of figure out something to do. So the solution, which is still in effect today, nopCommerce 1.8, and there are multi-level roles for customers, salespeople, sales managers can see what their staff is doing, customers can see at a managerial level what all the orders are company-wide. We have dynamic shift twos based on their internal customer number, and it talks to their order management system. Go ahead. And so the NOP system actually calculates based on what you're trying to order, it does the math to say the cubic amount of volume that it takes to fill up a container or a truck, and then what the cost would be for those tires. Oh, every customer has a different price for every product. And some customers can't buy some products. So we have a really big process that runs every night that we call the BFT, which is the big fat table that updates from their order management system. We don't love that, but that's what's there. So we are doing a lot of complex calculations behind the scenes. This is the NOP order history for the customer. Oh, sorry, this is the product list, and this is showing by warehouse how many tires there are for each kind that the customer would want. It shows their prices and the different kinds of prices based on what the, are you sure? You sure? What do we get? What do I get? This doesn't work again. Okay. So this is what the customer sees and can put it in. Is it me that I have the one still? Okay, because I can't do that. So they put it in their quantity. Go ahead. And there's an indicator on the top that's telling them how close they are to filling their order. They can flip between warehouse and container. Go ahead. And even at checkout, they can put. This is classic ASP. So this is our oldest NOP site, still in existence. We know that as of today, they add $750,000 a month to their revenue stream by using nopCommerce. And what made the difference between version 1 of this project and, phase 1 and phase 2? And I loved one of the first shop owner that presented this last time when he said, I really failed when I tried this the first time. We all failed sometimes. Phase 1 we did what the customer asked us to do. The customer said, if we just want this ordering portal, and then our customers will be so happy. And their customers did not order one tire the whole first year it was there. So we went back and said, okay, now we're going to give you a prescription. Let's bring all the information forward from OMS. So order management system does its work, and NOP is giving them that Amazon-like experience. That made all the difference in the world. The customers get the web-facing view of their orders. They don't call customer service anymore, and they're placing more orders around the clock. So they get all kinds of reporting, keep going. Customers are seeing orders that were placed on the phone or on the web, so they don't care where they place the order. Now they go to the web for everything. So after, that was actually wrong. It's 750 because I was, it says 350. But the orders are placed online and there's bi-directional communication with their order management system. Upgrading this would be really hard to do, but the customer has no desire to upgrade. And I know that putting people on an upgrade path is something we have to think about. They're not upgrading their OMS either because it's so customized. So they basically have this really functioning system that works for them and solves the problem they had. And that's what we're here to do. One of the other things that we started doing a lot of is working with people who have brick and mortar stores who are saying, gosh, I can't really extend myself beyond my neighborhood. I want to go out and onto the internet where I know I have to be to make sales, so can you get me out there? Of course we can. With our expertise in the precious metals market, we know a lot about how this business works. We were able to we've done several websites for people who sell gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. There's some really interesting business requirements. The goods are very high priced, so security is essential. Tracking inventory, tracking pricing, and locking the price in is essential. And managing your pricing, that's pretty scary looking, isn't it? Not, especially in the older versions, had a lot of real estate opportunities. I don't want to say wasted because we're like, grab that real estate and build something on it. So this is the bulk edit page for NOP. And what our dealers are doing is they're looking at all their products. The price of gold and silver is changing every 5 minutes. Platinum and palladium changes every 15 in the world. So we have these feeds coming into the site, and then they're putting their premiums on top of it, and that includes tiered pricing. So they can look at a glance, and they can actually edit in here what is their pricing. So instead of going in and out of products, and how much should I put on this, and what does this look like compared to that, they've got a little bird's eye view of their whole business. So this is used extensively. Okay. So the other thing is in the shopping cart, we just added a price lock so that after 5 minutes, pricing resets to what the current price is for that product. Because people would put stuff in the shopping cart and then watch the market and then buy. And obviously we couldn't hurt our customers that way. So we add some things that are unique to the market, the charting. We write calculators. This calculator is one of many integrations that we do that we just add the management of this to the back end of NOP. So we have a gold and silver calculator. It's pretty simple to look at, but in fact in administration, this is a percentage that the store owner can manage by purity of this metal to say we're going to pay 75%, 80%, 90%, whatever it is. So very simple for the user, very helpful for the store owner, and that's to buy. We started using NOP for things where it wasn't even a shopping cart because, again, not our problem. You don't have to worry about login. We're giving people a place to edit. We're giving people a place to manage their data. So this is the USA's world's largest, and I would say it's one of the world's largest precious metals depositories. It's bigger than Fort Knox. We have 7 warehouses that are filled with pallets and pallets and pallets of gold and silver. It's an amazing operation. So we did a shipping calculator for them that they just click on their homepage. Then, what happens is they get to this page. This is all done through NOP. It's in NOP 3.6. We did a topic because, no offense, but we didn't want to talk about what the words were. The customer marketing department wanted to go back and forth, and we're like, here's the topic. Just make it say whatever you want, and we'll show it. And here's a calculator that is deceptively simple. Yevgeny, you did this shopping calculator, so tell a little bit about how you did it on the back end.
Well, basically, what we used what was already built in NOP. Like there's a plugin for each major shipping companies that you can have in nopCommerce for USPS, UPS, Federal Express. So and the plugin is calculating shipping charges for those carriers, and I don't think this works. So it calculates shipping charges for you, but the customer has very unique, based on what kind of coins or metals needs to be shipped. It has very unique requirements on how how it's supposed to be packaged, how much goes in each box, and then you have to calculate, how many boxes will take to ship whatever the order is. So what we did, we added custom settings on the back end of nopCommerce for the customer to go and set, and then the calculator I also have a web service on top of nopCommerce for calculator to interface with. And basically, the calculator is in their website. It pulls information from nopCommerce, which in turn also uses web services to get shipping rates for each shipping company, and it combines it all, calculates and returns the results to the user. So basically, we kind of used nop features to provide unique calculations for the customer as a solution, but it was a kind of a combination of different technologies.
Including nop. And the cool thing for this customer, this is actually the second project that we've done for them that's based on nop, but which has no shopping cart, because one day they're going to do e-commerce, and literally the week before we left for Amsterdam, we got a call from them saying, okay, we're ready to do our e-commerce site. It's like, finally, we've upgraded their nop several times. They don't really know that, but because we've been trying to stay current just so that when the time finally came, so it's here, which is kind of nice. Another really cool thing we did with nop that has no traditional shopping cart. I think you skipped one.
Missing one.
Yeah, we'll just leave. I don't think those squares anyway, so that's good work. So what we did was, I don't know if everybody does this in the US, there's a big push towards device recycling, so you turn in your old iPhone or smartphone or iPad and you get money or credit towards something. So one of the major electronic retailers in the US contracted with our client to do a device recycling program inside all of their retail stores. And we used nopCommerce for that. And so nop was the kiosk that the people touched and answered questions. I swear, go ahead. Yeah, well, they go in, they ask, and once you pick your phone and your carrier and all that, you answer the question. This little part right here was the screen cracked and all that. That was actually a little project that the nop templates guys did for us, because we were like, we don't know how to make these buttons and kind of make it look like this. But this is used in retail stores throughout. It organizes it by store. It integrates with their POS system through services. They get a gift card to the store, and it also alerts their inventory system in another state that the phone or the device is coming, and they can, and it's got certain specifications. So it's a very simple interface for the users. Lots of stuff going on under the hood. Is this upgradable easily? No, but it doesn't need to be. It does exactly what it needs to do for everyone. So how much can nop take? We're pretty proud of this implementation. This is Cory's baby, and reinventing the wheel with Castro Technology. Castro Technology is a company who has close to 1 million SKUs for casters, and which are the wheels they put on carts. Did you know there were 1 million? I did not. 1 million different ones, and they've been trying to go online with an e-commerce solution for 14 years. Started, stopped, started, stopped, started, stopped for 14 years. So go ahead. So we did a multi-story implementation. I'm going to have Cory talk a little bit about the guts, but some of the things that we've seen from other development companies that we sort of have taken a different approach to. A lot of development companies provide a true CMS package on front of nopCommerce, and then there's a lot of tying up that you have to do back and forth. And first of all, I don't think CMS changes as much as CMS companies think it changes. Some people like to be able to edit their websites, but people are really not sitting in front of their websites editing them every day unless they're new sites. So we came up with a way to do tiered topics so that we could add CMS-like features to NOP, and it's been very nice. And we also, this was our first big Azure implementation. So we're doing a different website for every target market. So there's different CSS for every target market, there's different everything. Very labor intensive on the data management. I'm going to tell you how products get there, it's crazy. But it is integrated with their ERP. Talk about it.
Well, we started this project on version 3.6, and what's interesting about this project is that we don't use NOP administration to maintain the data catalog at all. There is an ERP system that holds all the SKU numbers, and there's the repository that holds all the images. And we create a custom portal for them so that they can maintain the specification for data. And all the pictures gets injected to Azure CDN in a bulk order. So you basically say, I want to upload all the pictures, it goes, grabs it from a certain directory and push everything to the nopCommerce, injects a record into the nopCommerce database that these pictures exist. And another way of maintaining this was they create a specification for products based on every letter in the product ID. So if the product SKU has 10 letters, 10 specification based on that. And all of this gets injected to nopCommerce by push of a single button for all the products. And this was, as Chris said, it was a beast, and it's still going on. And right now we have 12 stores on Azure on a single instance, and it's running. And by the end of 2017, they're going to go up to 50 stores. So we might have to increase the instances to increase the performance. But they all go into a different target market. They go to a different target market to with the same SKU numbers. They're going to have a different description depending on what URL you call on a single catalog. And this is been going on. The other challenges that we're going to run into is the pricing. We're still working on that. Once that is set up, and I think everything is going to be the same way. It's going to go to the nopCommerce on a single push of a button, and it's going to run. And it's going to generate a report to show that what product got there successfully, what product got added there new, and what product got retired. And it's going to have an amazing reporting system through the custom portal that we did that pulls the data from nopCommerce and shows it in the portal. The beauty of all of this is everything is sitting behind firewall. So we create this portal that grabs the data from their ERP system and communicates with the nopCommerce and pushes the data to them. And this process is very well calculated, because if it goes toward the end of the process, if it fails, it's going to get a backup and restore back the old data before pushing the data back to the nopCommerce. So there is no place that it felt, let's say the power goes out, the internet crashes, there's no problem there because it's going to get restored back to this original state. We're still working with this client, and I think he's happy with our progress so far, and we're not going to upgrade until version 4.2 with the new technology. Right.
One thing I wanted to show on this was the how we are CMSing NOP a little bit.
I missed one thing. All the style sheet that you see for all the 50 stores is getting handled by one CSS file, depending on their store IDs, and changing all the colors and infrastructure for the silos.
And they have a full-time marketing consultant who has they heavily rely on paper brochures, and they're all color-coded, and so they wanted, obviously, their online presence to match their physical presence at trade shows and with their clients. And so you get onto the site, you can tell exactly where you are because they use the same marketing look and feel. But what we did with the tiered topics, and I don't know how well you can see these screens, but when you get on the About Us, it drops down and you're going to see other topics down there. And then we just added a layer of parent and child on the topics, and then also a display order, so that you can say that this is the order in which you want. I mean, when you think about it, it's just a natural extension of what NOP already does. And so when I first got the tiered topics from Cory, I was like, great, where's my display order? Okay. So it's just kind of what you've come to expect when you work with NOP. And then we also added target market management for each product. So you can go back there and see what's what. The push that we're doing from the portal right now, because this is still a work in progress and will be for hopefully a really long time. But if you want to go in and change one thing, you can go up and just look at it here. But you see your target market. So HOTR is for the hotel casters site. And if you want to call it a linen cart caster, but in a bakery you would call it a bakery cart caster, that's how granular they want their descriptions to be. So they're able to manage a description per store, which is kind of neat for the same SKU. Okay. Is this stuff making sense and is it helping? Oh yeah, okay. So we have 20, I think we already talked about all this. Fractional product quantities, okay. Fractional product quantities was sort of the dragon that we have been asked to slay several times because not everything is purchased in quantities of one. We had these two big old brothers, like hillbillies, if you know what that is, and they sold, of all things, quilting fabric and supplies. And they wanted to be able to sell things in a third of a yard, a half of a yard, a quarter of a yard. Couldn't really do it easily and elegantly within NOP. And then we had another customer who came to us. We're in California, and medical marijuana is being sold legally, although you can't pay for it or ship it, but it is sold legally if you're part of a collective. And we're voting on recreational use here. That's definitely sold in quantities of less than one, in fractional quantities. So this gentleman came to us. He actually was 30 years with a very large aerospace corporation. So he has this big company, we're going to do everything right mentality. And it was a great way for us to cut our teeth in this particular industry. So nature by design, and we are trying to put I hope you guys have seen it, we're trying to put our versions and the themes that we're using down there. So we use our tier topics a lot now. I mean, people just love it. Super easy to do it. You have to be logged in to see prices, and he uses significant ACL. I mean, I've never met a store owner who uses more control to the features than NOP. All his salespeople go out with tablets to the different dispensaries, and they've got the products that are there, and he manages his inventory very specifically so that one guy can't sell something and the lady over here can sell it also. It's exactly what they have available. So to go on the site, you have to be 18. So one of the things we're kind of proud of is that we try to use stuff that's in NOP and not reinvent the NOP wheel. So we don't have cookies pop up in the United States. We just put them on people's computers and don't ask them. So we use the European cookie pop-up, and we just did some text there so that we could say, are you over 18? There are some nice NOP implementations. I think one for whiskey that has a over 18 on it, and obviously somebody programmed something very nice. This just took us a couple hours. Style it up and go.
And then you can have the automated cookie warning.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So then you'd have to do something different. But I'm just saying, you don't.
You can use it.
You can use it. Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, people are saying, you know, I want to have this, or I want to have that, and I think there are great ways to repurpose NOP core features and NOP plugins in ways that maybe nobody necessarily thought about it when the item was created. Go ahead. These pages are very friendly. We have gorgeous pictures. We have embedded videos. Everything is, I mean, it's a very high-end website. It's beautiful, and they make a lot of money, and they're following to the letter of the law. So us too. We use the store locator plugin. So this is kind of cool to think about. These guys they don't have stores. They're suppliers. So where can you find our products? Because they do make edibles and things like that that are actually specifically branded. Well, there are lots of companies that do that. So we just retitled the store locator, and so now as a distributor, they're saying, hey, where do you find our products? When they saw this, they were like so happy. Now we can show people our Nature by Design products are found at the following locations. They're cross-promoting their stores, who in turn are thrilled to be part of their website. There's cross-linking all over the place. And yeah, now we get to the good part. which is the fractional. So we had to change, we had to put fractional quantities on, and I'm going to have you talk about the hows on that. But on the product detail, the mini cart, the shopping cart, on the wish list, and on the order history. So I think we have a list of what's what. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there were a lot of changes. Of course. But yeah, there's a number of things that were changed.
Well, I mean, the changes are obviously straightforward. And I think Andre maybe can tell us if it's possible, maybe make changes in how to allow the fractional quantities out of the box. Because the changes are, I mean, not complicated at all. And I saw some requests from other people that needed to use the fractional quantities on their websites. But basically, it just took a lot of changes in a lot of places to allow for decimal quantities to be used on this website. But just something that customer needed.
I love how you're like, yeah, it's no big deal. When we were in the middle of it, the EO's head was exploding with all the exceptions. But it's beautiful how it looks and how it acts. It's really beautiful. So that's our a taste of Irvine Software and the way we work with Nop. It is the only e-commerce part that we work with. We have been happy to introduce a lot of people to e-commerce. We're also the Rebound developer, which I don't know if you'll get that, but the people have started with other development companies have been frustrated, and they'll come to us and say, we thought this was going to happen, and we feel kind of stuck. And so we're not trying to do an infomercial about ourselves. I think what the difference is for us is we are an older, more mature software team, and we're saying we are business people, and we're thinking like business people. So instead of thinking like developers, and the person says, "Here's the problem, let me fix it because this is what you told me I wanted." I think it's our job to say, what is the result that you're trying to achieve, and to really talk to them about it. And I think we end up with some pretty cool outcomes because of that. So, does anybody have any questions or thoughts, or I don't know, have a problem of your own that you want to see if there's a way to go for it?
You do what we do, you modify a lot of the core code to fit the product. How do you feel about that, rather than writing new plugins? Quick bind can do the same thing. Sort of trying to rationalize the objective, justify that in mind.
So the question is about how do we feel about modifying core code versus using a different method, probably like creating a plugin.
Well, ideally, it would be great if have all the customizations to keep the customer on a great path would ideally need to be done as plugins. And that's really the only pure way of doing it. The thing is that it also requires more time and effort on the developer part to add a certain feature to the solution. And if customer is, we had customers, clients who specifically requested things to be done as plugins. We certainly glad to do it. But in most cases, it also requires customers to come up with a bigger budget for the project to accomplish that. And we try to be open and always discuss it with the client and basically give them options. But even when we do customizations, by not using plugins and having to go and change some of the core functionality, we try to create a separate CSS class, separate controller model, whatever. We're trying to not change as much as possible. Obviously, doing documentation, at very least, you need to have a modification history with a new project where all the changes are outlined. Because we had, as Chris mentioned, we had customers who did previous work with other development companies, and some store owners, especially if they're not technical, they don't really think upfront what I'm going to do if tomorrow this developer is going to leave the country, or God knows what's going to happen. When we take over the project, we ask owner what do you know of any customizations that were done to your solution? And most of the time they say, no, I have no idea, and there's no documentation, and there's no way of knowing, even like just give us the features that were implemented or customized, and there's no such lists, and it makes it hard to, obviously, to then implement. We had one project just exactly like that, where we had to basically like feature by feature and test it until owner kind of verified and said, well, it seems like everything is working as it used to be. But it obviously took more than it should have if the work was done more cautiously by previous development.
I would say along that line, the best advice that I can give any store owner or anybody who is getting custom software development of any kind is to make it in your contract that you have the solution, and make sure that even if you don't know what a solution is, that you have, before the last check is signed, that you know where your solution file is. And I'll tell you, the project that I think Yevgeny's referring to, because we've had a few, I felt almost like her project had been held hostage and we were receiving pieces in a body bag one at a time, and it was tragic. I mean, you would get this piece and then the other thing would break, and then this one, and we'd go back. Wow, and she's saying, why is it doing this? We're like, we don't know what it's supposed to do at all. So it can be really, really awful. As a store owner, to feel like you're being held hostage. You should be in control of your own store. This is your bread and butter. You own this. This is your livelihood. Take responsibility for it, and make your IT people accountable to you, and say, this is where your solution file is. Is it really the right one? And can you compile from it? You gotta hope so, but at least you gotta make that ask, because the time to do it is when you first start dating, not when you break up. It's a big difference, really. So the summary of our projects is that we feel like NOP has been tremendous for us on the front end, and I think it's really important to do that good work, that project management, to do the needs analysis, and to not necessarily listen to what the customer says they need. Sometimes people try to, they don't know what's possible, or they're trying to save money and they don't really know what's hard and what's easy. But ask a lot of questions and push hard, and make sure your IT person knows what the results are that you want, not what you think they can do, but what, like, if money was no object, this is what I'd love my store to do. You may be surprised. You might be surprised at what's right there in front of you.
Questions?
Okay, good. I think we just timed out just as my voice went out.